Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Fish. This is the almost weekly series where I answer your questions and we talk about what's going on in the world of guitar gear. Short one today, hopefully, because I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I feel like I might be dying. But of course, there is no time for that because we've got guitars to talk about. So do me a favor, smack a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it. That actually really helps out. And let's jump into your questions. Car Crash Thorax on Instagram asks, Agafish, it's like they were listening to you. Yeah, this is a straight up meme. Me, hey Gibson, I hope you expand the Kirk Hammett lineup to include more than just Greeny. Gibson drops another expensive ass limited Murphy Lab. Me, wait, not like that. Yeah, so still no Epiphones, still no Gibson USA releases. Although a standard Greeny is supposed to be dropping next week at time of filming, but we do have a 200-piece limited custom shop run of Kirk Hammett's 1979 Flying V that he used on Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, on Justice. I mean, it's a guitar that's played a big part in shaping metal as we know it today. Aged by the Murphy Lab, you know the drill, it'll run you $15,000. So again, same target income bracket as the other current releases in the Kirk Hammett collection. Although, in fairness, this is the most affordable so far, so there's that. All of a sudden, the $1,800 LTD KHV doesn't seem like such a bad deal. So, the Murphy Lab, it's been replicated down to every detail. The dings, the finish checking, the custom replica bridge, whatever that is, Schaller tuners with the original tuner holes, and the T-type pickups that were in the guitar until 1987 when he swapped to the EMGs that he's known for using today. This isn't actually the first time they've released this model. His first signature with Gibson ever, back in 2012, was this aged Flying V, although it was limited to just 150 pieces, 50 of which were actually autographed by Kirk and featured EMGs. There was going for about 10 grand on Reverb last I saw. And look, I'm a massive Metallica fan, right? I know the lyrics to every song. I know the track list to every album. My practice routine, if you can call it that, with any dignity whatsoever, is literally just the same Metallica riffs I've known for years, played over and over again. And believe me, I really do appreciate the re-release of these historic models. But for the love of God, guys, please stop rubbing it in that I can't afford a $15,000 guitar. An affordable Epiphone, please, I beg. Or where's the purple sparkle Les Paul Custom? Please, guys. Anyways, here's where I'll throw it to you. Another Kirk Hammett Murphy Lab signature. Your thoughts? And actually, Hunter from the future here, my ass has been knocked out so long with illness that Greeny Standard did already drop. And well, it's kind of Greeny in spirit. Let me explain. First and foremost, it is the first time they've attempted a non-limited normal production USA Greeny, so credit where credit is due. Not only Kirk Hammett and Metallica fans have been waiting for this one, but also fans of Peter Green and Gary Moore, and Gibson have basically done what Epiphone did with the 1959 Les Paul Standard. Epiphone doesn't age their guitars like the Murphy Lab does, so what do you do instead to give that guitar a less new feel? Well, you give it what Epiphone calls an aged gloss, essentially a matte satin finish. And that's pretty much the deal with this Gibson USA version. TLDR, it's basically an upgraded current generation faded series Les Paul. No aging, but a satin nitro finish. It's got a AAA maple top versus the AA top on the regular faded 50s. The biggest feature for most people, they've included the custom Greeny buckers, especially that reverse mounted neck pickup with the reversed magnet polarity. Other small things like Grover tuners instead of vintage style cloisons, it's got the mismatched knobs and a slightly darker color from most photos I've seen relative to the standard 50s faded. My first reaction to the price was, oh wow, $200 more than even a Slash Les Paul? And then I double checked, it seems like even Slash Les Pauls are $3,200 now. Obviously, the special pickups and the AAA top on a satin guitar is cool. Those aren't really things you can get on any other production Gibson Les Paul right now, and it's $17,000 less than the Murphy Lab version. But I don't know, it has some important specs on paper, but it feels more Greeny inspired than actual GREENY. Almost like a fan project. You know, Kirk is not going to be playing this one. It's a cool guitar, and I would not mind having one as a fan of Les Pauls, but if I got one, I would not feel like I'd be getting a proper GREENY, if that makes sense. I'm just rambling like a crazy person now. What's your take on this one? But let's talk about slimming down your wallet in a way that isn't so sad, and take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Ridge. And Ridge isn't just a sponsor. I've been using them for a couple of years now, and I absolutely love it. There's no way I'm going back. I love the sleek modern form factor that can fit into your front pocket, the durable plates made of aluminum, titanium, or carbon fiber, or RFID blocking, and each wallet comes with a lifetime guarantee. You guys know, you've used traditional wallets. They get bulky with unused loyalty cards, old receipts, and that's just not practical for modern people, and it doesn't happen with Ridge. They have over 30 colors and styles to choose from for yourself, and speaking from experience, they make fantastic birthday gifts for your hard-to-shop-for friends. This time they sent me 3 of the most popular designs to check out: raw forged carbon, burnt Damascus steel, and the most over-the-top premium design, 24 karat gold. Amazing. You can even now replace the cash strap on the back with an AirTag holder, so you'll never lose that wallet again. They have over 50,000 5-star reviews, so if you want to see why so many people are switching over to the Ridge wallet and love it, heading over to ridge.com/Agufish. And for you guys, if you use my code Agufish, you'll get 10% off your order and free worldwide shipping. Link will also be in the description, and of course, clicking helps support the channel by letting them know that I sent you. Poke Fanatics on Discord asks, thoughts on Mick Thomson from Slipknot becoming an ESP artist and Jackson removing his signature model off their website. I saw Mick at Knotfest Melbourne play his Jacksons, but on the US tours and most recently at Knotfest Japan, he's been using ESP Horizons, M2s, and the Arrow shape. Oh yeah, and he's been using Fishman pickups now instead of his Seymour Duncan Blackouts. Oh God, the internet is on fire with this right now. And genuinely, I'm a bit confused as to why this is as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be, but let's talk about it. So, for the last few years, Mick Thomson's been one of the key flag bearers for Jackson guitars. His soloist came with his signature Seymour Duncan Blackouts, which were supposed to be by far the highest output variations, and the coolest thing, they had a fake tremolo, basically just a big mass of metal to supposedly increase sustain. And that happy marriage looks to be all over. His wife posted on Instagram holding one of his new custom Sparkle ESPs, and then his tech, Mike Smith, posted his rack of ESP headstocks. And I'm stoked an Eclipse made the bench, just had to give a little bit of single cut love, obviously. And interestingly, Mr. Smith also teased that the Fishmans were, quote, nothing off the shelf, suggesting possibly a new signature set, which I would guess has a voice based on the super high output Blackouts. And just like with what happened with Mark Morton, the divorce has been very quick. He was still using the Jacksons just a couple of weeks ago in Australia, but come Knotfest Japan, he's all ESP. That's probably because Slipknot, I'm guessing, has separate rigs on each continent, plus ESP, it's a Japanese company, he's got them right from the source. He's been completely scrubbed from the Jackson site, and it's kind of crazy because he was definitely working with Jackson on a new iteration of his signature. He was seen in the Dying Song music video playing direct mounted pickup models, whereas his production soloists all had pickup rings. And he's still on the Seymour Duncan site for now, so grab him while you can, I guess. But him leaving Jackson to go to another company known for metal guitars, it's exciting, don't get me wrong. I'm a massive ESP fanboy, and I cannot wait to see what they're gonna come up with. I hope to God they keep the fake tremolo. But like, he was with Ibanez at the beginning, then BC Rich for a while, then back to Ibanez. He only joined Jackson in 2016. The dude is a nomad. He's like the rest of us, always chasing the best fit for him. And I don't think it's nearly as controversial as Mark Morton leaving Jackson for Gibson after almost 2 decades. It does spell a bit of trouble for Jackson though. That's 2 of their biggest artists gone in less than a span of a year. And they're making moves with Josh Smith of Northlane, Mike Stringer of Spirit Box. They still have Misha, Scott Ian, Marty Friedman. Gojira Christian, because I know I'm gonna fuck up his last name, but I don't know, man. Losing Lamb of God and Slipknot in rapid succession it's worrying, to say the least. Anyways, those are just some of my thoughts. Here's where I'll throw it to you. What's your take on Mick Thomson leaving Jackson and Seymour Duncan for ESP and Fishman? And what do you think his new ESP signatures will look like? Any and all thoughts, leave them down below. And now it's time to talk about the new gear releases of the week. Keep these on your radar. Standberg dropped their Rescued series, and these are really interesting because Standberg generally uses transparent finishes to show off natural wood grain. Looks awesome, but if the woods have visual imperfections, then what? Well, they've come up with the best answer, a limited edition, solid color, coral pink run. Love it. This is kind of what we already do with Harley Benton and the Satin Black series. Don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but fuck it. Basically, if the body is completely usable, it just has a visual defect, it makes zero sense to just throw it away instead of using it in a guitar with a solid finish color, where you won't know it's there anyways. Well, I guess now you do, but we move. The Rescued series currently consists of 6, 7, and 8-string models, and Standberg is basically giving you the opportunity to cop one of their models for half price. Everybody wins. Personally, I cannot stand Standberg necks. I know people love them, I just don't care for the twisted rectangle, but I do care about sustainability and finding a way to use materials that are already harvested, because literally none of anything matters if we don't have a f***ing planet. Also, they're pink, and I have a big soft spot for pink guitars. Good job, Standberg. Now, the EVH Iconic was all the gear world wanted to talk about last year for the months leading up to it. I've yet to get my hands on one, but they've just expanded the family to include more responsible combos, a 60-watt 212 and an adorable 15-watt 112. There was so much controversy around the partial solid-state Iconic. EVH dropped a horrific sounding launch video, which seemed to confirm the doubters' worst fears. Ola and Fluff later redeemed it. The general consensus nowadays is that it's a beefy sounding amp that, while not the flagship of the line by any means, is still worthy of the 5150 name. So if you don't need the full power of the big peepee versions, these might be worth looking into. Blackstar has dropped the latest addition to their line of pedal amps, the 100-watt Amped 3. Confusingly, Amped 1, 2, and 3 don't refer to version number, they're all just different products in the same Amped line. They've all got different features, and Amped 3 seems to have been pretty well received so far. People seem pretty taken with the convenience of the form factor and the versatility of the tones. It does clean, crunch, and it's got what Blackstar is saying is one of their highest gain circuits ever. And unlike the other ones, you can actually save and recall presets. Seems like a pretty big oversight this hasn't been part of the line until now, but we move. Other than that, it's got reverb, warm and bright clean modes, 2 overdrive colors, and the ability to emulate EL84, EL34, or a 6L6 power section. Pedal amps aren't really my thing, but in fairness, a pedal amp is a lot more practical than a giant 100-watt tube head in most situations. That's what my brain says anyways, my heart says otherwise, but we move again. And probably one of the most surprising pieces of gear news, besides Mick Thomson leaving Jackson, is that the super affordable and super popular Squier Bullet series has been retired. In its place is a new Squier Sonic series. Poplar bodies, bolt-on satin maple necks, ceramic pickups, and there are actually a shitload of models. You've of course got the classics, a Sonic Stratocaster, triple single, 6-screw tremolo variation, comes in black and 2-color sunburst with a maple board, then California blue and ultraviolet with Indian laurel boards. Hardtail version with triple singles comes in Arctic white with a maple board, and Torino red with a laurel board, HSS with a trem, black with a black pickguard, and a wild Tahitian coral. Then the Sonic Telecaster in black and butterscotch blonde with maple boards, and California blue and Torino red with Indian laurel fingerboards. And there's some really surprise additions as well in the single humbucker Sonic Esquire. Comes in Arctic white with the maple board and ultraviolet with a laurel board, both with black pickguards, and they look awesome. 2 versions of the short 24-inch scale length Sonic Mustang, a traditional double single version in 2-color sunburst and Torino red, and a modern double humbucker version in California blue and flash pink. For bases, if you care about that stuff, a P base in black, 2-color sunburst in California blue, a shorter 30-inch scale Bronco base in black, Tahitian coral, and Arctic white, and I've saved the best for last. A single humbucker hardtail Strat in black with a black pickguard, and my absolute favorite of the entire series, it also comes in flash pink. For whatever reason, Squier will not bring back the Hello Kitty Strat, but this is pretty damn close. Now, listen, my first guitar was a Bullet Strat. I absolutely adored the series, and it's been around for literally decades, so it's kind of a weird call to completely abandon the name. It's not like they were super well-renowned or whatever, but they were well-recognized for what they were. Squier's most ridiculously affordable models. Squier and Fender have a habit of renaming series if they require price hikes, but the Bullet series was already at $200, so clearly that wasn't the justification. My best guess is that the secondhand market is flooded with Bullets from people who either grew out of them by getting better and wanted to upgrade to a higher-end model, or just gave up the guitar after 2 weeks. So if you can get a Bullet Strat for $50 on Facebook Marketplace, why would you spend $200 on a new one? That's a pretty good reason to refresh with a whole new series under a whole new name. Or maybe it's just because the Bullets have been around for so long, there have been so many variations that it's impossible to keep track. The one that I have, black HSS with a maple board, wasn't even a thing, according to Fender, especially not with the full thickness mahogany body it appears to have. And I've also got a Squier Bullet P bass with a rosewood board and a 3 pickup configuration that also apparently was not a thing according to Fender, at least not in the United States. A lot of confusion over decades of the line, so they might have just been like, okay, f*** it, full reset. Either way, I love all the wild additions in the Sonic series, like the crazy Tahitian coral and ultraviolet colors, 2 variations of the Mustang and Esquire. Those are huge, super affordable releases, seeing as how popular they've become for younger rock bands. A short scale Bronco bass too, and of course, the spiritual successor to the now highly sought after and stupidly expensive Hello Kitty Affinity. But yeah, a lot of mod project potential across the entire Sonic line. But that will do it for this episode of Ask-A-Fish. I appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to my sick as fuck ass massive shout out to my awesome patrons that make this and every other video possible. Their names are up on the screen right now. Consider joining them if you like what I do and want to support the channel. You can also do the YouTube channel member thing or grab yourself some comfy merch. Everything really helps out and I really do appreciate it. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome and I will see you for the next video.